Hello, Internet and everybody out there. Welcome back to Live at the Lodge. We're out here at Lost Tamarack Lodge. It is September 18th. Yeah, that's the right date. My name is Greg Vadney, with you as always, hosting the beginning of the show. Before we get going tonight, I want to make sure and let you all know that we've got another show coming up. We do this the third week of every month, so next month is going to be October 16th. And I'm working on getting Holly Bardalis up here to talk about the history of the farm. She's got some great historical photos. I've talked about it before, and she's in Southeast Michigan, so right now trying to get her locked in for that. And we will have some updates for you on our musical artists as well. So mark your calendars for October 16th. And as always, this show is sort of a service to keep feeding obviously the channel so that you guys are aware of the festival coming. Man, I can't believe it's already fall. We are going to be in planning stages for next June 19th through 21st. So if you plan that far ahead, go ahead and mark your calendar for June 2026. Crazy. If we make it that long, I guarantee that this festival is going to happen unless a crater opens up and swallows this farm. This festival is going to happen no matter what. So without any further ado, tonight we have kind of a pulling double duty as our featured podcast guest and featured musician, the illustrious PETE KEHOE, Petoskey Zone. Give him a hand.
Illustrious.
How you doing, Pete?
Good. How are you, Greg?
I am good, man. It's good to have you out here. We've been talking for the last hour, so it is funny to put the cameras on it and do this. But this is the first time you've been out here.
For this.
Yeah,
yes.
for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last time I played at the festival, when was that? Oh, it was a long time ago. Yeah.
And we're trying to get you. We've got a spot marked out for you. We're just waiting for confirmation from you.
Yeah, I'll know in a week.
So, and this is the other thing, because I would assume that any of our music fans and pretty much anybody that's familiar with the channel that's watching knows who you are, either personally or just from having been in Northern Michigan. You play everywhere. I think of you as an anchor, a mentor, and the part of the real soul of the Northern Michigan music scene. And I know that you are very busy playing and doing your own thing, but then you've also got Big Water Creative, which I would love to talk to you about as well. So, we'll spend some time talking about the housekeeping stuff, and then we'll get into some other things. Okay. So talk about, kind of what you do in Northern Michigan as a musician. Hit us with it.
I do a lot of things. Primarily, it seems, guitar and vocal. Do mainly covers, tourist gigs. That's in a nutshell.
And some piano.
A lot. And piano. As a matter of fact, I've been playing a lot more piano lately, which is good for me. Yeah. And actually, it's kind of a cross-training thing. The muscles and tendons and everything that I get worn on during the summer, if I play piano like a couple of nights a week, it helps that. But yeah, I've been playing more piano, so guitar and piano primarily.
And we've played together on and off. It's so funny. Like you're one of the people that I run into. I always love running into you. And it's the curse. We talk about this all the time with musicians. It's the curse of the Northern Michigan musician or the working musician in general. We're all so busy during the summertime. We never get to hang out. And every time we cross paths, it's like we you get 5 or 10 minutes on a set break or passing here or there, and it's always so great to see you and get caught up. And the times in the past that we've gotten to play music have always been again, you're a great example, I think, to working musicians from all backgrounds of kind of how to do it right and keep a good attitude. That's one thing I would say about you. You've always got a great attitude.
Usually.
Well, you and we've talked about this. You hide the. We can stash all of our baggage, selectively, but you do it really well.
Well, thank you. We laugh. My wife used to be a waitress years and years ago, and we used to call, when she put on the smile, the Jenny face, the waitress Jenny face.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to do that sometimes too. You get burned on 6 nights of tourists a week, and
it pays. It's what is paying the bills, and there are some bright moments of inspiration and creativity and love and real, true appreciation. Mixed with the sort of exhaustive Groundhog Day effect, I think, right?
That's well put.
How many different venues do you play regularly?
Ooh.
I mean, just ballpark it.
Oh, I don't know. I get 1099s from at least 15. Maybe more.
Yeah.
There aren't any cash gigs anymore, as you well know.
No.
Unfortunately.
Well, honestly, the last month I've had, surprisingly, I've had some really good cash gigs, and I was like, ooh, it's been a while since
Ooh, this is going on the internet.
Well, I'm not too worried. Hey, you know what? If they're looking for me, then we're in bigger trouble than I even think. But it is nice to come home with some crisp hundreds and peel them off and hand them to your wife and be like, here we go. I did it again. Of course, it's harder to hide the cash from your wife than it is the IRS.
It is. Oh boy. Oh boy. They should hire our wives, boy.
So, talk about Big Water.
Big Water Creative Arts. It's a music nonprofit that does free music education programs. We started 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years this April. And became a 501c3. And how it started was Michelle Chenard and I had a songwriters workshop that we did on Mackinac Island for several years. And it was successful to the degree that we always had a lot of attendees, but we never quite made any money on it. And it wasn't really, that wasn't even the focus of it. I mean, we wanted to make some money on it, but it never quite got there. And after a few years, we decided, maybe we should do something like in a charitable vein. And so we saw all these students and all these schools that were just, eradicating all the arts programs from their curriculum. And so we decided to start doing songwriting workshops for middle school kids.
So, and are you bringing in kids from just the local school districts around the area?
We actually have been going into the schools primarily, not for all of the programs. Now, I mean, things 10 years later are a lot different. We're doing a lot more than that. We have 3 rock band programs going in Pellston, Alanson, and in Petoskey. And then we have a couple of jazz programs that we're teaching at Crooked Tree. And we, last semester we had a ukulele class. We had a songwriting workshop that was like a small, almost a one-on-one with just a few kids. So we're doing a lot of stuff. And then I teach in Gaylord and Sheboygan. I teach the high school special ed class music also.
How many different artists are involved in that organization?
As far as like teachers go?
Teachers.
Let's see, we've had a lot. Charlie Millard did some stuff for us. He hasn't in the last year, but he's been busy doing other things. And that's kind of how we've been doing it, when we can get somebody. Finding teachers is really the most daunting task. But at any given time, at least 4 or 5 instructors, and some of us do multiples.
Okay.
So.
And you've got a board that you like a board of directors type of
Correct.
situation.
Yep.
How many people are on the board?
There were 7. We had somebody depart earlier this summer, so 6. And I actually am in the process of, per our bylaws, leaving the board in an official capacity, which is going to be really weird because, having kind of steered the ship from the beginning, now I have to step away and I don't have any voting rights. But Michelle and I are both in that position, and we wrote into the bylaws an advisory council.
Yeah.
And so we're going to still attend board meetings, and I'm hands-on. This thing with the Michigan Rattlers coming up on October 4th.
Right.
Is the benefit for Pellston schools in our programs there.
Okay.
I'm still hands-on with that.
So where are they playing?
They're doing, it's the Bliss Gardens and Farm Market is what it used to be called, and I think it's still called that. It's very near the Bliss property. It's on Hill Road. It's like a mile south, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a really nice barn with an upstairs. Like imagine this bigger with like 200, almost 175, I think we can put up top. And so the Rattlers are doing a show, and actually Michelle and I are doing an opening set in the garden beforehand when people are milling around with cocktails and whatnot.
That's so cool. There's so many, and that's one of the neat things about these different organizations. Like I've observed that organization from afar, and I know a few of the folks that have been involved, and it's so important because, like you said, like the arts program's getting cut. You're feeling an obvious need, and there's so many great musicians up here, and it doesn't just happen like in the same way that I consider you a mentor as a gigging musician, creating an organization that gives the infrastructure for kids that are in the arts and involved in music to see that that the reality of making a living or the process by which they can continue to evolve as artists and even branch out. We're a big area, and as far flung as a place like Traverse City or Grand Rapids or Lansing, as far away as some of those places seem, cultivating our own arts and artists up here, it's so important. And you say somebody like Charlie Millard, who's he's a gem, and a great example, I think, to the kids as well. And it's cool that did he come out of that program, or was involved?
No, we actually well, we had kind of been involved with him, or I guess not Big Water per se, but like myself when he was doing open mic nights at Beards, the original Beards, like long time ago, when he wasn't even 18. I think he might have still been in high school. And my daughter actually sang with him, did some gigs with him. But Charlie, actually, we were looking for. I was busy, and we had somebody else that was I forget who it was that was going to teach us songwriting class, and we were like, oh, I can't, he can't. What about Charlie? Let's get a hold of him. And he was great, and he did a couple of them for us. So
and I know Chris Michaels is somebody else that's been working on.
Chris Michaels, and he's fantastic. He's the one who really. He's killing it with our rock bands in Alanson and Pelston.
He's got a great ability to work with kids. He's a really unique guy. It's funny.
He's a kid.
He is a kid. He is definitely.
He still has that wonderment in that, that playing. Let's play in the sandbox.
And he's also got a great command. He's got a great musical ear and a very creative approach to, he's a very singular artist, I think, among independent musicians in Northern Michigan. You sort of you take people like that for granted in a way, and then when you see their value outside of we kind of all play the gigs that we play, and you think what somebody does, and then you see the other side of the things that they're capable of doing. I was really happy to hear that he was involved in that, because it made total sense to me that he would be
hoping that he's coming back. I mean, this last year he was busy with the go rounds, and he was busy with a lot of projects and his own stuff too. He just put out a new record like a month or two ago.
Okay.
And so he had a lot on his plate this last year,
Sure.
which is why he couldn't. So,
So what do you and you have been to Soul before, so you have some familiarity with what we do. Have you been since this room has been done?
No, I haven't seen. This is the first time I've seen this room.
we kind of go down memory lane sometimes on these shows, remembering past Souls and what we've kind of grown this thing into, and doing this, doing events like this to kind of, again, sort of try to expand what we offer out at the farm. It's great to have artists that haven't been here in a while, or bring new people in. I was so excited to have you out here today, because I was like, you're definitely one of the people you're a missing piece of the family that's already part of the family type of thing.
Oh, I know, and I knew everybody. I mean, everybody I knew.
Well, you and Tim. I mean, and that's the other thing we were talking about. You go way back with Tim.
Oh boy, give us a case of beer and a night, and you'll get about 8 hours worth of late 80s. Correct. Probably 88, maybe. Yeah. Holy cow.
So you were at Central?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Were you what were you doing were you in music down there?
No, actually at that time when I met Tim, I don't think I was actually attending classes. My wife at the time was, and we were living in married housing on campus. And I forget how I even got involved with Mayfest. I met Mike and Camille at some point, right when they were first getting together. And and just
wait, what's Mayfest?
Mayfest was it was a music festival. No wonder Tim is doing what he's doing. That started in, give me a year, Tim. 80.
The last year was
91.
It was the 15th anniversary. So do the math backwards.
So it was like 77 or something like that.
It was a fish fry. I think
It was a smelt. Yeah, after they went smelt dipping, it was a fish fry. You're right. And they had somebody play, and they got a couple of kegs of beer. And it turned into, by the biggest, we were talking about the biggest show, we think there were like 18,000 people at that show. I mean, it was huge. I mean, it was insane.
Was it?
And I was stage manager that year, and I was stage manager the 2 years prior to that, too.
In Mount Pleasant?
Yeah.
Like where?
Well, it was Blanchard, which
Okay.
is west of Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
It was a mill pond. It was like a pond where there was like a hydroelectric dam and then like this big hill, natural amphitheater, and it was perfect for not 18,000 people, but 8 or 10,000 people.
Is that where the professor or the Steve?
Steve Scheer,
Okay.
God love him.
he's a benefactor. He's helped us over the years with very serious.
Excellent. I'm not surprised at all.
I met him. I met Steve at a show with John Archambault band
Oh,
down in Mount Pleasant randomly, and I had no idea why. We were at the Bird, and for Steve's birthday, and
I was supposed to be there.
and I had no idea like how I got the gig or like why we were there.
This
like,
last year in April?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And then Tim calls me when the gig's over, and he was like, so what'd you think? I was like, that's a wild party, a cool time. And I was like, and he's like, and what do you, and how'd you get the gig? I'm like, I don't know. And he was like doing his Tim thing to me, leaning on me about it. And I'm like, and he's like, that's Steve who helped us start the Soul. And I was like, oh, and then I went over and I made sure and introduced myself and gave him a hug. And man, I can tell you what was his 87th birthday or something?
Yeah, it was.
Dude, I mean, he's a very cool guy. And I mean,
He's still got his marbles, man. I saw him a few weeks ago, actually. Yeah. He's the cultural godfather of
Absolutely, 100%.
cultural godfather of CMU for a long time. I mean, he nurtured the art scene and the music scene, and there were a lot of symbiotic things that went on with him and like the music venues in town, the Foolery. They used to bring Black Flag played there, the Dead Milkmen. I opened for Gatemouth Brown there. I opened for Mighty Joe Young from Chicago. I mean, they'd have punk and they'd have blues, and Steve was there every show. Fishbone. Oh my God, I got to see Fishbone.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
See, and and those, and I grew up in East Lansing, and there, again, you take for granted that in the time when it's happening, you don't realize what's happening when it's happening, and for stuff like that, and seeing bands that you could look back at.
He was a prof too. He was teaching Russian history, and he's like this socialist guy, kind of like anti-authoritarian, but in the nicest, kindest. He's just a great human being and kind and giving and but he was so into music and really spread the word about new bands. And we had how many bands came out of that era, out of Mount Pleasant? Tons and tons and tons. It was a cool time. We were lucky, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve is he is the godfather of festivals. He's the guy who got me into Mayfest, and I did parking all those years.
That's right.
And it was a godless task that nobody wanted to do.
Terrible job.
But Steve was just he kept his composure. He never lost his cool.
Yeah.
And certainly, as I tried to keep
There were some tense moments too. Yeah.
keep the torch going for a guy who showed us the way.
You did. You kept the torch going with this. That's awesome.
Exactly, and I mean, it's that's one of the things that I think when we come back and do this every year, despite the inability for it to ever make money, no matter what we try to do.
That's obviously
no
not
matter
what
how
it's
little
about.
we try to make money, we still can't seem to make money.
That's obviously not what it's about.
No,
And that's okay.
No, and it's. I think the organic nature of what it is we're doing here. It's like you're not panning for gold, or you're like sifting silt to find gravel. Whatever it is that whatever the organic process is that's taking place here. It's only time that's going to reveal it. And I think starting where we've started from and building the team that we've built, who show up and do an incredible amount of work. And you've been away for a little bit, but we've got such a great team. I mean, always here, we got Jakob and Frank and Nick and Dewan, obviously, and Tim. I mean, these guys put in so much heart. They really they've laid a really solid foundation of like pure passion for it, and knowing what it takes to get any of this stuff done.
Oh my God, it's a nightmare.
It's thankless, and like
it's a thankless nightmare. That's what it is.
Frank puts it into words the best when it's like, really the festival is not even what the festival is for him. It's everything around it. There's so much that takes place, and when you're involved that deeply at the level of production and an organization, when the event's happening, you're not having the same experience that the people that are coming and seeing it are having.
Oh no, not at all.
But it's kind of like the way that a chef in the kitchen is sweating and setting himself on fire and cutting his thumb off. I mean, like, that sounds like a bad chef. All right, a slightly more accomplished chef who's at least sweating, but making sure that everything gets out of the kitchen on time and is presentable. I mean, that's kind of what these guys are doing, and this is, where we are right now is absolutely the kitchen for this festival.
They make magic happen, man.
Yeah,
that's what everybody does here.
That's
awesome. It's
been great, and not to pivot too abruptly, but the other thing that I think, and kind of you spoke to it with Professor Steve, having a connection to the college and having his own, an individual that's involved emotionally and philosophically at other levels, like having an openness to different ideologies and sort of it's, when we show up here, we all kind of roll our eyes, and it's almost exhaustive to even bring these things up, but it's like, it's crazy how stressful it feels right now to even want to speak about anything. But I think it's important, that we're aware of. We got to stay fearless. And not that we're not doing anything wrong or anything bad, but it's like there's a big weight on the shoulders of people that are open and emotionally connected to the larger world right now, as an artist, and like you said, you've kind of drifted out of your position at Bigwater, so there's not as much risk for you. But I think I really respect the way that you think about things, and I know that you've lived enough of a life to have some perspective on what we're facing right now, and navigating that as an artist in places where, again, we are serving a tourist economy, but there's a balance with that. I mean, how do you feel like during the summertime when the world seems to be collapsing around us, but everybody comes up to like, nothing's going on, everything's great?
I think some of those people really need the distraction and the diversion that I provide. And you forget about how powerful music is. As a musician,
yeah,
I think sometimes we forget how powerful it is to those who don't practice the trade or and how much of a huge impact it has on everything. And that's one thing that Big Water has taught me, because I'm working with special ed kids, man. I'm telling you what, I have never been so floored in my life so many times by the visceral reaction that music affects on those kids. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's just, and you see people at shows having a great time, when the band's cranking, like when the Sherpas are just rocking and like the whole crowd's, but this kind of a thing, it really sets you straight.
And that is a good point, because I think we all, like, again, it's a very solitary pursuit. We're driving a lot, we're alone a lot, we're in our heads a lot, and I think we're carrying a lot of the weight of the world alone in our heads. I think anybody that does a solitary pursuit feels that way, but there's a weird dichotomy where we're so alone and isolated, and then we go into this extremely social setting where you are like you're removing those barriers, and that stuff doesn't exist. But in your mind, at least for me, in my mind, it's like I come into a place and I might have a million thoughts going around, and turning that off is a huge. That's a great reminder to just like turn it off and realize that like what we're doing right now is getting rid of that shit and like exercising the
Being
demons.
mindful, man.
Yeah.
You know, and that's hard for me. It's not a natural thing. It's hard for me to turn stuff up, but music definitely does. And Tim, do you remember Henry Kubin? Soaring Eagle production director. Henry played in the Essentials for a while. Anyway, Henry and I always talked about this, about once you get on stage, you can feel like shit. Oops, I said a bad word.
You could say fuck too.
You can feel, all right. You can feel terrible and get on stage. And especially if you have the crowd going, if you have the crowd in your hand and it's like there's that symbiotic buzz going back and forth, everything goes away. And everything, it really is one of those. It's like golfing for me, too. Golfing is the same way. Everything goes away when I'm on a golf course. Like,
does it really?
Yeah, it does. except for my fade and my, you know, music does that to me, and I think it does it to everybody.
Well,
right?
and it's like it's
I'm
obvious.
philosophical.
Well, it's like it's obvious, but you forget. And again, I think the theme that I keep coming back to is like taking shit for granted, taking so many things for granted, and I think I think over the last at least couple months, you know, it's realizing that some of my struggles with navigating like our new paradigm is I've taken for granted that I thought that there was a normalcy to the world, that like there were some tent poles and some road markers, and you know, like when we drive down the road there's a stoplight, we know the stoplight means stop, but now it's like, why does the stoplight mean stop? Maybe what if my green is your red, you know? And now we're like starting to have these, we're having this like inability to agree on consensus reality, and that's clouding, you know, it's going back to it, it's hampering my ability to embrace what, you know, artistically is going on, like sharing a thing. Like I don't want to share that. You know, I've been in some private parties where I'm like, maybe I don't want to share this, you know, with you, or we had that no one's ever going to see this, that was at this thing, but I was at a jazz gig the other day at a private party. It was very cool. Actually, I got to show you pictures. This guy was, you know, whoever this guy was, he was doing very well. And I came in and he had a table of Blanton's, like 50 bottles of Blanton's.
Jeez.
It was his birthday party. Those were birthday favors.
Awesome.
It was great. And, you know, cool weirdo, definitely like some degree of on the spectrum. And he'd hired us. He'd seen us at Ethnology, hired us. And at some point he comes up, he's like, you guys want to like do any Van Halen? And this is hour 2 of a like living room jazz concert that had been like negotiated, and I couldn't, I'm like,
Van Halen.
I couldn't tell. I'm like, are you messing with it? Like,
Right?
but he didn't get, there wasn't enough conceit of like, yeah, I'm joking with you. It was like some Van Halen, and I'm like, and I was the only one that really heard him say that. So I'm looking at the guys. I'm like, I guess maybe something that's swings a little harder, like something up tempo,
Like a Panama swing version.
But no, I mean, but you can't just do that. Like we have the real books. We're playing like, you know, it's you. I'm sure you get some odd requests, but you can
All the time.
but you could pivot. You could say, okay, maybe not a Van Halen tune, but I mean, you could pivot to something maybe 3 points away from that. But you know, you can't play a Romanian folk dance, you
Right.
know, if somebody was
For klezmer.
yeah, I mean,
right.
like it was such a weird thing that happened. I was like, okay.
It's like, have you been listening for the last 2
Yeah.
hours? I mean, do you get the theme?
But then your mind starts spinning. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, why this? And you know, was it worth it? Sure, financially, but spiritually, I was like, oh, that was a tough one. And then actually, I didn't talk about this with you, but I got picked up to play percussion with. There's a group out of Grand Rapids that do like a really great they do these really great tribute concerts. And Al Jankowski in Traverse City got me involved with these guys. We went down and played this festival in Indiana, and we did the entire Paul Simon concert in the park.
Oh wow!
At this tribute band festival in Griffith, Indiana, and I left this jazz show at this private party and like busted ass down there to headline this festival. It was so cool. It was, and the band before it was Phil Collins' band, and they did.
Oh wow!
Everybody does like note for note, very high level.
That'd be very impressive.
It was so cool. That was that was actually that kind of like.
Sometimes you get the best of both worlds. You get a great paying gig, and you get people who are really appreciative. I mean, like I have done a private party for a guy on Lake Charlevoix about every other year, and he has a bunch of his fraternity brothers. They're from Indiana, and they come up, and he's got this enormous place on Oyster Bay, and and it's got a huge.
Is that where we played that one time with Eric? It was like a big real estate guy, like a big stone fireplace.
No, different place.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was up that way.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, it's that in that general vicinity. So anyway, this guy, it's like 25 or 30 people, and he's got a big deck and it's covered. Luckily this year because it thunderstormed. But they sit rapt attention, and they're like the front row. He's got like concert seating, like art, and they're that close, and it's pin drop. And it's a little unnerving because, that it's a really intimate kind of thing. But they are so appreciative. And they paid me ungodly, too. And he had Pappy Van Winkle that he poured for everybody after my set, which was nice.
So, and kind of like I mentioned that other show, it was sort of an interesting, similar type of crowd where you realize that, appreciating the fact that you are providing a show, a very intimate show for a group of people that never see anything like that. Like they never see somebody close up.
Right.
And you and speaking of that one that we did kind of in that same area, I was so impressed with how you directed that really, really well. And there were a lot of moving pieces to something like that. And then even after we were done with the band part, you went and did your solo thing. And as I recall, it was kind of a similar vibe in terms of
the fireside kind of thing. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
exact same thing.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it is. There are some very special times. I think that the weirdness punctuates the beautiful times as well. And I think I listen to enough different types of people talk about these things where it's just such like an adventure. And again, it's a solitary adventure, and you come home and you try to tell your wife about it, and depending on what the mood is, when
if she wants to even listen,
or it's like and
she's asleep usually.
Oh, though definitely asleep, and the hardest one for me is like in the morning I'm like I almost feel like I want to take notes because I'm like.
Oh yeah, I forget.
I'm always doing that thing where I'm like, I gotta remember this. This is a weird one.
I know.
And there's always something that's really.
And then a week later, you're like, oh hey, I meant to tell you this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like remembering. Oh, I told you about that, didn't I? I'm like, oh no, this was like a whole side quest of things that happened, and the stories. The stories you get told by strangers. It's a bit of a therapy job as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you are a therapist, and people confide in you sometimes really to an unnerving degree.
Yeah, you get cornered a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten really good at, and I want to be in control so much of my like human interactions with people where I've gotten really good as a side. Like I realize I can just like it's hard for me to want to shut off, but if I'm not directing the traffic and I feel that freight train coming at me the other way, I'm like, I gotta go into shutdown mode sometimes because I'm like, I know where that goes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're just like, oh, I'm the therapist listening to this thing for free, and oh man, sometimes it gets dark. That stuff is dark.
Oh man.
And you play on Mackinac Island a lot, so
I was just thinking of a Mackinac example.
I was up there for 3 days with at the Grand Hotel with like the jazz crew, and went down into town, and we ended up the last night we went all the way down to the Pony.
Did you play with Alex and those guys?
No, I was Alex hired me, but I was subbing for a drummer who had to go back to New York, and I was doing that sort of circuit of like dining room, terrace, theater.
Right.
It's like a festival schedule every night, and throw the suit on and really high level. I mean, I don't want to say very, very high level musicians that I felt. I'm getting to the age where like I know what I can do and what I can't do. So when I got the call, I bounced it off my buddy Jeff Schaup, who has been up here before. He's the one that kind of gave them my number. I was like, hey, like, and he wouldn't have given them my number if he didn't know I could do it.
Right.
But I have that sort of self-conscious thing when I'm going to play with like New York and Nashville level jazz musicians.
And at the Grand Hotel.
Yeah. And it's, it's all background. I mean, we're not putting on like, Montreux Jazz Festival level stuff. But man, the amount of tunes that we played that I had no idea what they were, and just open the ears up, and like that's the one thing I can do. I say I can't read, but I can listen.
You can listen
hard as shit, and like I know that I can
Listening's
listen.
better than reading any day.
I would like to be able to read.
Well, both is ideal, obviously.
But you know what? Who's got the time?
Yeah.
It was great though. But we ended up down at the Pony, and the guy that was playing.
Oh, Mike Rice.
Yeah, was it Mike?
Mike and I have a long history too. As a matter of fact, with Tim, not with necessarily, but all in that same circle. CMU days back in the 80s.
He's a teacher?
No. He was just a musician. As a matter of fact, when I moved to Mount Pleasant, Mike and I got into a band. We had a cover band. And actually Mike and I had a duo, and we played the Pony a lot. We played there for the millennium. The two of us, actually, as a duo.
You were on Mackinac Island?
And I wore a tuxedo for that gig. I kind of pissed Mike off, actually, because Mike did not. But it was at the Pink Pony. We played until 5 a.m. that night. Anyway, Mike is he grew up 7 miles from where I grew up.
Really?
And he was the guitar hero in our neck of the woods when I was like a fledgling. And so, yeah. I got a lot of good musical education from him over the years. We played Mayfest, actually.
Really?
Oh man,
that's the funny thing about the connective tissue of and as I've gotten older, I'm looking back and realizing, I've played with a number of guys that have died, and I'm like, wow, like that's a real barometer for aging of like, man, and. My memory will come up, and I'm looking. I'm like, holy shit! I forgot that whole like. There's a chunk of 3 years that I was doing like one thing a lot, with certain people, and then And I remember trying to do other things, or looking back at when I finally got brave enough to like start forcing the jazz thing to happen, in at least in my area, and I think sort of something that I try to tell younger musicians is it's like, just if you're kind of wondering if it's time to go and play or like how to do it, just
it's time to go.
Just go do it. Like everybody wants to play. There's a never-ending demand for music everywhere. The venues are going to pop up. They're going to go out of business. The managers are going to change. But just get your ass out there and do it.
Yep.
And festivals are a great place to be, whether or not you're on the bill, showing up, because I can tell you, any number of times, even just this year, where like all of a sudden somebody needs a guitar or a chord or a guitar player or a drummer, or like if you're just around and just put yourself in the spot, you'll get, and people start to know you're there. Just you'll get tapped on the shoulder and you'll be in the scene, whatever that might be. All of a sudden,
yeah,
that's a good thing. All right, I'm going to pivot one more last time, because I know this is a subject that we've brushed on, and I can't not talk about UFOs. And I know that we've had a little brief conversations about this, so I'm going to bring you up to date with my most recent frustration in the world, and I am gonna have my own little thing on the side, so look for that. But so there was a hearing last Tuesday, the third congressional hearing of former and current military testifying to their experiences. And one of the big things that came out of that was this goddamn video of the Hellfire missile hitting the orb. Have you seen any? Have this been on your radar at all? You're really good at staying offline. I tried to.
Okay. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen the video. No.
Okay. I instantly was dubious, and this was a day after I was telling everybody who I've talked to about this stuff. Videos are we are in post-video reality. You cannot look at a video with any degree of certainty or conviction.
Correct.
And the way this video came into that hearing in the first place is classic disinformation. There was no source. It was dropped on the doorstep of this particular congressman who is, heading up a lot of these things and who is a nutbag too. But, he's in the room, so I got to make some concessions there. But it became the linchpin of this whole meeting. And within 24 hours, the people that look at this stuff are like, this is pretty clearly a video of a missile being test fired on a balloon, and they've got the math worked out and all that sort of thing. And it's so frustrating because these things continue. As much valid testimony as there was, it gets whitewashed by all this other stuff. But I guess when we've talked in the past, kind of what's your broad philosophy?
I watched some of the congressional stuff that was on earlier in the summer. When was that? Was it May or June, maybe, or something?
Well, it's been the last 3 years. There's been one hearing over the last 3 years, once a year. So the previous one,
there were 3 guys that were Pentagon and ex-Pentagon.
Well, so there was
or DOD.
Yeah, there's been DOD, Navy, Air Force. And actually, there was one NASA guy. I don't know why he was there.
All I know is they had to recuse themselves repeatedly and almost completely throughout the whole hearing.
Yeah, which is
hey, something's going on.
Well, and that's very frustrating because
their NDAs, they're going to end up in federal prison if they violate the NDAs that they've signed.
And I think that's sort of, to me,
at the least.
That's the bigger point of, if you're there in front of Congress testifying, there is, under penalty of perjury, if whatever you're saying, could, land you in prison for lying. And I guess it's
either that or classified information, and that will do the same.
Well, and sort of I think the broader perspective on the fact that all these people have been testifying is that there's obviously something that's happening that is being hidden from the public, and what the reason that Congress is having these particular people come and testify is to illustrate the fact that there's things that are being hidden from even Congress that they don't have access to.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of it's kind of a broader puzzle that people have to put together, because everybody, nobody that's sort of casually, the people that are casually paying attention, all they want to see is just they want the thing to be this is absolutely what this is.
Definitive.
And there is no definitive answer. There is a whole plethora of possibilities, but for sure, people at extremely high levels of training and exposures to different levels of the intelligence, agencies, and you've got, retired admirals, and there's even active duty guys in the last hearing had an active duty Navy radar operator that he's still on active duty, and in the process that they had to go through to get the ability to testify to this stuff was laborious.
Oh,
and
boy.
If you scratch the surface, or you really do want to look at what that is, it's pretty amazing. So I was very frustrated because 24 hours later we're in a whole new civil war over political assassinations, and it just wipes all of that off of the people don't even know that happened. That would have been a big story coming out of that hearing, having the 4 people that testified, having one major news story permeate the culture to say, hey, by the way, guys, this is still going on and absolutely happening. But it just goes away because now we're into
ADD culture, man. ADD.
We're into the next thing. All right. That I could go on for hours on that. Pete,
We will on the phone.
yeah, we will on the phone. You are an absolute asset to the Northern Michigan arts community. You're a great musician. I look up to you so much, and I appreciate hanging out with you every time we get to see each other. Really looking forward to hearing you play some music. So we are going to transition here and strike the set and get your mic set up. And if you guys would stay tuned and watch our 20-minute video here showing some past shows from the Lost Tamarack stage.
Cool.
We will rejoin you with Pete as a solo musician, playing some tunes for you. Anything else you got for people? Where are you going to be next? Do you have anything?
I'm actually going to be at Cafe Sante in Boyne City tomorrow.
Good spot.
I think that's tomorrow. Tomorrow's
Okay.
Friday, right? Yeah.
Friday night
Yeah.
at Boyne City, Cafe
And don't
Sante.
forget about the October 4th, the Big Water benefit for the Pellston Schools, music programs that we're doing there. Michigan Rattlers and myself and Michelle Chenard doing a set in the garden before the show. And that's go to bigwatercreativearts.org, or you can go to my website and email me, and I'll send you a link. How about that? It's going to be a great show, and actually we're over 90% sold out, and we're 2 weeks out. So we're probably going to sell out. So if you want to get tickets, I would really highly recommend you get tickets now.
There.
You get them online, eventbrite.com, and just look up Michigan Rattlers, and you'll find the show. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Pete, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
All right. Stay tuned for next month. We've got, hopefully, Holly Bardalis will come and give us some history of the farm on October 16th. Either way, we're going to be right back here with more podcasts and music for you guys at Lost Tamarack Stage. Thanks to the crew tonight for coming out, and we will see you guys in October here on the podcast stage. And in the meantime, we're going to watch Pete play some music. Thank you. Good night.
All by myself. No one to talk with, but I'm happy on a shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. I know for certain the one I love. I'm through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't go out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Oh, believe me, baby, I don't go out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. They misbehaving, saving my love for you. like Jack Horner in the corner. Don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't go out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving all my love. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. If there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your tears and sorrow, smile, maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun go shining through. If you just light up your heart with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although
Thank you so much.
This one's called Hazy Cosmic Jive. Transmissions from his antennae. Can you hear all the songs he's been playing? DJ Clark after dark, jocking this from his bus in the sky. Well, we know all the words of the storm and it's sailing back to him. When he tuned into us tonight. Don't tell Dad, okay? Can I count on you for that? Ability, pull me to the ground, transcending the FM static, starman's orbit round. Can you hear all the songs he's been playing? DJ Clark at the dark, chucking this from his barn in the woods. Paper towels, 12 eggs, what you gonna do? Kinda hungry. Take a stroll through the marsh to the river, watch the fish swim on by. Glass prism on the windowsill, taking sun rays to the next level. Wild sundial, come back from a while ago. Bring it back now, y'all. Got my girl coming way from the north, she warmed my soul. Little lamp on the table, gotta be at least 100 years old. Lichens on the trees to show the direction, what the heart desires. Make some more coffee, mess around with my analog synthesizer. we doing? Paper towels, 12 eggs, what you gonna do? Kinda hungry. Take a stroll through the marsh to the river, watch the fish swim on by. Wild sundial, come back from a while ago.
Welcome back, everybody. Not that you left. What I've done is what I've done. What I did didn't mean to hurt anyone. I tried my best, still I failed to believe with all my heart that this is over to abandon what I feel. All things you need are within you if you try. And all you ever do is bleed. If you stop to wonder why, hold me close, then you let me go. You're reaching out, but for what, I don't know. 'Cause it's not me you're thinking of. You just can't fake the play, then walk away just to do it all again someday. Me, yeah, me. Am I part of this, or am I just some flights and floating on your sea change? When I to be the person that you thought was just a man like me. Well, am I right or am I still wrong? Well, if I put these chains upon me, I can break them if I'm strong. But I just wait another day for an answer to this riddle, just to hear the words you never say. Me, yeah, me. Am I part of this, or am I just some flights and floating on your sea to change? Will I still be the person that you want, or just a man like me? All the things you say indeed, I would think you if you try. And all you ever do is bleed, but don't you want to fight me? Yeah, me. Am I part of this, or am I just some flights and floating on your sea change? Will I still be the person that you want, just a man? Is he just a man like me? Yeah, me. Am I part of this, or am I just some flights and floating on your sea change? Will I still be the person that you want, and just a man like me? Thank you, gentlemen.
We dialed you in.
All right.
It sounds great.
All right. I'm dialed in. Excellent. You know what? I'm going to take off my glasses. Well, that was a true story. They're all kind of true, aren't they?
Do you want me to shut that door and you go back out?
Yeah, that's okay.
I can do that. Nice breeze.
Friday night, she's all alone. Sitting there beside the phone, waiting for someone to call who knows it all.
told me she could not explain. She couldn't bear to feel the pain. Her love comes right out the door while your heart bleeds on the floor. Yet you still want more. You used to know my thoughts so beautiful. Tender love, young and true. My love ran out and kind of cruelly, so brutally. And now she wants the one that she once knew. And now she cries away the tears. A prisoner of her own fears. Sitting there beside the phone another Friday night alone. She usually know my thoughts are beautiful. Tender love, young and true. Her love ran out and kind of cruelly, so brutally. And now she wants the one that she once knew. And now she pines away the years. A prisoner of her own fears. Slowly turning into stone. Waiting for her call. Riding softly on the loan. The knows it all. Forever fading by the fall. Another Friday night alone. La 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 la. La. That was a true story, also. That's about a girl from Mackinac Island, as a matter of fact. How about that? Here's my sailing song. Called Big Water, believe it or not. I hear big water, I can hear your voice on the wind. Coming in from the harbor, your wanderlust coffee again. The waters they roll like the thunder folk on the shore. The waves caress you, the charms they possess you once more. Something inside you just feels so alive just to be. So a child imprisoned now by the be. Take me big water, come carry me home to the blue of your body and make it my own. The canvas is reaching for places that I've never known. Big water, carry me home. It's on your waist, they blazing like diamonds on fire. Smooth you come, you're begging like wanting desire. Something inside me just feels so like just to be lifting my soul to the skies, so I open your seas. Everything I carry me home to the blue of your body and make it my own. The canvas is reaching for places that I never known. Big one carry me home. Home to the blue of your body and make it my own. The hands is reaching for places that I never known. Big water carry me home. Grazie, grazie, grazie.
All right. Some of these songs I haven't played in a long time. These are all originals, by the way, folks. And I'm a BMI writer, so don't steal them. Or you'll pay.
We got some good attorneys.
So this one, okay. I used to play a sports bar in Novi. It was called Mr. B's. It was one of the Mr. B's chain in Detroit, Mr. B's Goat Farm. And it was when Novi was like cornfields, man. And they literally had a volleyball court out back and like a softball diamond, and it was like a sports complex. But it was a sports bar. And the people who owned it were the nicest people, Ian and Adele Alexander. And they were both like 85 and little cardigan sweaters shuffling around. They were the biggest music fans, live music fans, and they ran live music 5 nights a week at this place. But it was sometimes you'd have to fight that sports crowd, you know? And this is about one of those nights. It's called That Isn't Mine. I literally came home after a gig there and wrote this song in about like 10 minutes. So.
God gave me a gift, and I was taught to share. There's music in my head, and I sing flying through the air. But you can share it with someone who doesn't care, and they wonder why we get high. And don't you wonder how we survive what we do? There's nothing that I hate more in the world than some blue-eyed floozy yelling, very brown-eyed girl. So it goes every night I take the stage, playing what they want from inside my guilty cage. And they wonder why we get high. Don't you wonder how we survive what we do? Well, there's enough boys and girls to what I've got to say. Sick to death of wasting breath, they don't listen anyway. Drink you drink and smoke you smoke and have a good old time. 'Cause I'm not singing one more song for you that isn't mine. That isn't mine. Just like a human jukebox, play only what I'm told. Stick a quarter up my ass and here's some solid gold. But the smell of piss and puke and beer is getting pretty old. And you wonder why I get high. Don't you wonder how I survived? Well, here I am, listening up with the boy and girl. What I've got to say is accidental race around. You don't listen anyway. Drink your drink and smoke your smoke, and have a good time, 'cause I'm not singing one more song for you. Listen up, boy and girls, to what I got to say. Check the race around. You don't listen anyway. Drink your drink and smoke your smoke, and have a good time, 'cause I'm not singing one more song for you. That is mine. That is mine. That is mine.
There you go. The anti-sports bar.
As the football's playing, there's a football mix right here. This guy's watching the game back there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It's the same everywhere. Oh, this is my one and only Western swing song that I ever wrote. How about that?
Cowboy?
This is about a guy. This is another Detroit era song. I was in the old Shillelagh, downtown Detroit, and a friend of mine in the afternoon, and I was writing songs with a buddy of mine who lived in Allen Park, and I would go down to his place, and sometimes we'd meet in the middle. We'd meet at the Shillelagh. And there was a guy at the bar there who was half out of his mind, drunk, but was babbling on and on about all these people he almost met. He never quite met any of these people, but he almost met like just a shit ton of people, right? So my buddy Dave and I wrote this song. It's called "I Shook the Hand of the Man Who Shook Hands with the King." So it's yeah. And it really, this guy knocked off so many names, so this is the name dropper song.
I know that I'm no Fabio when looking into the mirror. I know my life don't count for much, but there's one thing I do. And even though I loved him so well, I never saw him sing. But I got to shake the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. I was working as a busboy back in 1968 at a little place in Memphis where everybody ate. I walked into a restaurant and no one said a thing. And it was then I knew why everybody called him the king. I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. Though it wasn't his, I swear I felt his diamond rings. All those folks I almost met, well, they don't mean a thing. But I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. He might have been a bodyguard, he might have been a friend. He could have been the king's chauffeur, it doesn't matter in the end. But all I know is when I let go, well, I felt like I had wings. As I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. It was better than the time I saw George Jones in the bar. Better than the time I saw I Love It in his car. Or the time I saw a kitty that came from Reba's cat. And there's the time that Vince Gill's caddy could help me fix a flat. And I was his close, and that's close the most would ever get to him. I remember how we looked that day back when he was thin. Well, I've ain't bearing nothing compares to the brush I've had with fame. Well, I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. It's better than the like I bought and Conway Twitter's hair. Better than the time I saw Loretta at the fair. Better than the autograph in Alabama sign. I want the man that don't get no better in my mind. 'Cause I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. Though it wasn't his, I swear I felt his diamond rings. All those folks that almost met, well, they don't mean a thing. But I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king. I shook the hand of the man who shook hands with the king.
Thank you.
I've heard Michelle play that.
Yeah, we do it together. It's much better when I have somebody else along for the ride, especially Michelle. All right. Yeah, I want to get a recording of that with Smokin' Joe Wilson on like pedal steel, and like do the whole like Western swing, like treatment on that with a fiddle, and you know. That would be, yeah, like Western swing was like country jazz basically. There's some great stuff.
The pedal steel is the country synthesizer.
Yeah, very good. Okay, speaking of Michelle, we're gonna do a song that we co-wrote actually. I got a couple on the list here. This is actually what I think one of our favorite songs that we wrote together.
Blues, how do you do? It's been a while since I've spent any time with you. Where do you keep all the deeds, secrets that seem to help you sleep? You come and you go, and nobody knows where you've been hiding all these nights. How long will you stay? What songs will you play until you leave again? Oh, blue. Give me your smile. Please give me something that's beautiful and white. How does it feel watching me kneel? Break to hold on for a while. You come and you go, and nobody knows where you've been lying all this time. How long will you stay? What song will you play until we meet again? Oh, what's the next line? Please give me a sign. You know that everything's alright. Will everything be alright? You come and you go, and nobody knows where you've been hiding all this time. How long will you stay? Songs will you play until we meet again? Oh, blue. Oh, blue.
change pace.
That's a pretty song.
Thanks, man. Oh, here's a real upper. This is a good one. I wrote this in Alaska when I was visiting family, and we had 22 family. I hope none of the family's watching this right now, but I was really stressed out. I was the minivan driver, and I had to coordinate everything. And it was a stressful week. And I was by myself in the kitchen of the Airbnb that we had almost everybody in the house. It was ridiculous. Drinking whiskey at 3 in the morning by myself, and I wrote this song. It's just about being tired of everything. This is a great end of the summer song for Northern Michigan, like, you know? Like after the tourist season is really, you know? Yeah. It's called I Don't Believe. I'm worn out, I'm all done. I've been living for everyone except for me. And I don't believe in do this thing anymore. I can't see, I'm blind. I have lost my sight, I'm wandering in the dark. And I don't believe in do this thing anymore. The futility of life and of love are the things that we never speak of. But the words that we say and believe in are barely enough to carry us to the times that we need them to. Times that we need them to. The futility of life and of love are the things that we never speak of. But the words that we say and believe in are barely enough to carry us to the times that we need them to. The times that we need them. I'm washed out, I'm exhausted. I've been dragging my ass through the day and the night, and I'm tired. Tired of being so tired. Tired of being. And I don't believe you do this thing anymore, no more. And I don't believe you do this thing anymore, no more, no more. And it's time for me to go. Apologies to my family. Yeah, I morphed into something other than that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This riff sounds a lot like a Dave Matthews song, but I came up before Dave Matthews came up with it, so just so you know. And I can't remember, is this? It also sounds like Doobie Brothers, I guess. Listen to the music. Yeah. Get a drink, agua. It's called Roll On.
looking for someone to hold me. I feel so all alone, waiting for someone to show me the way. I can't seem to find my home, trying to find the reason behind, trying to look ahead, but I see back behind. Wrong, 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 to find a way. You think you make mistakes, that's what it takes. Hold on, there's a better way. Coming behind you, wrong way. Came on down on this highway, and then on this ship of fools. They're drifting on so very closely to the edge, drifting on so far from you. Road round on same piece of ground, looking for a way to find myself. What I found is wrong, to find a way. Keep faith and make mistakes. That's what it takes. So hold on, every day. Coming up behind you. Find your way. Keep faith and make mistakes. That's just what it takes. So hold on, it's a brand new day coming up behind you. Run away, run. Find your way. Keep faith and make mistakes. That's just what it takes. So hold on, it's a brand new day coming up behind you. Wrong way, wrong way, wrong way. A long time since I've done that song. Thank you. Clap, clap, one. All right. All right. Well. Gonna get wacky. These are old strings. I hope they don't break. Say what?
So you see the wear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can. This is another Michelle Chenard co-write. This was the first song we ever wrote together, as a matter of fact. We were day drinking. Yep. Sorry, guys. I was going to be able to do that quicker. All right. Yeah, we were day drinking on her back porch. Actually, with her ex Joe, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, this is. They're all girl songs eventually, right? Kind of. It's about a girl that I was dating from Ottawa, Canada. And her whole family hated me. Her whole family hated me because I was American. But it didn't work out anyway, and it worked. Everything worked out. This is called Willing. I got so down again, give my heart away into some other girl. Look for a kindred soul to share my world. That's how it goes. I got blistering again, trying to keep on off the edges. I scaled up that wall, hoping that the sky was blue white than the last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. I sell my soul if you were the one to dance with upon the rooftop. But the wind can be strong and fall down on one, but I could be willing to try. So I'm thinking again, climb up that wall, find some sunlight again, trying to find the courage and faith to leap from the ground to the sky. I could be persuaded to try. You were the one to dance with along the rooftop. The wind can be cold and fall down on one, but I might be willing to try. If I tell my soul, if you were dance with upon the rooftop, the wind can be cold and fall down on one, but I might be willing to try. Oh, if I could be willing to try. Oh, if I am willing to try. Thank you. Voice has been better. Guess one more. Uno más. Well, thanks, guys, for having me. It's been fun hanging out with you guys. And Tim and I caught up on a lot of ancient history. Yep. And God willing, and the creek don't rise, as my dad would say, I'll be here for the next soul. All right. Better. All right, this is It's called Words to Rhyme, when you just can't get somebody on your wavelength, man. This is actually about a dude I was in a band with. But not being able to write together because he was the writer. If I could find the time to care about you, I'd have time to burn. And if I had the choice between you and nothing, you don't have to say, go away. 'Cause you just don't have the time to listen to you whine anymore. I said just don't have the time to make your words to rhyme with mine. That's fine. If I could find a way to make you change, now would you change? Could you change? Nothing said the same. Something's never seemed to change, like you and me. You just don't have time to listen to you whine anymore. 'Cause it just don't have time to make your words to rhyme with mine. That's fine. Just don't have time to listen to you whine anymore. I said just don't have the time to make your words to rhyme with mine. That's fine. All right, thanks, you guys.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Mwah, 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 mwah.